to another episode of the After School Special Club. We're live in person!
I'm Mary! And I'm naked.
And Mary's naked for Halloween.
Or am I?
Oh.
I'm not. Sorry.
Well.
Nope.
So I got Mary, I figured since we're doing this episode in person, I had a belated birthday gift for Mary that took, because it's handcrafted, so I had to wait for it.
Chris crafted this.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Okay.
We thought we would open it on the show because it's video game related. So that's how we're going to start it off. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's birthday. It's Halloween. That's why we're dressed like this. No, this is us on a normal day, actually.
We shouldn't have said anything. We should have just left it unexplained.
I know. Let's see. Ooh. My gift.
My gift?
My little treat.
I got you bubble wrap.
Thanks. It's the gift that keeps giving.
Paper.
Love a good paper. Read it over the toilet. What is it, guys?
I'm trying to see if I can see it on camera from the other side, but I don't think you can because of the bubble wrap.
Oh, so you guys are surprised too.
Wow, I'm the only one who knows what it is.
Keeping the suspense. That makes sense. Thank you for the gift. I'm sure I'm going to love it.
You're like, I hate it!
I hate it.
Stop the camera.
I can't work under this pressure. Oh, I think I know what it is.
More bubble wrap.
So cool.
Oh my god, it looks really good. I haven't seen it, actually. I only saw it online.
I love this.
Wow. Show the camera.
I was going to start the song of it. But
I have it on my phone. I'm like, boop, boop, boop.
Yes. Oh god, thank you.
Oh, it smells like paint. Oh, I love that smell.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to get high on this episode? From fumes?
Silent Hill sign, 19, designed, cut, stained, and assembled by K. Vermeulen, fall 2022.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Etsy, you're welcome. Etsy is the best.
Yes, seriously.
This was also so I think they were the same person who made or actually no, it was a different shop, but it came up, the Heaven's Night beanie that I got.
Oh yeah.
That's how I saw that beanie, was because this came up when I was looking for Silent Hill gifts for you for your birthday.
So great. I love it.
Welcome to Silent Hill.
Welcome. Put this above my bathroom. Welcome to Silent Hill.
Should I put it here so we can have it on camera?
Yes. Only dark memories in the bathroom.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that it has the little plaque on the back.
Yeah.
Really cute. That smell. Okay.
It's really nice looking. Very authentic.
It's a good size too, actually.
Yeah.
Well, can't really see it.
It's there, guys. It's there in spirit. It's there.
Whatever. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of the After School Special Club Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Mary.
And this is your show for video game news, commentary, and stories from our stupid little lives.
The stories are beautiful. The video games they're great.
They're awesome, actually.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
It's so weird being in person again doing this.
Yeah, because I feel like I have to talk. I'm talking to you. It's so easy to talk to the public, talk to the fans.
Right, but talking to each other.
And now I have to go So this will be interesting. Glad to be here, though. Thank you for inviting me into your lovely, lovely home.
Yep.
You can't see a lot of it, but his house is
It's pretty lovely. There's a cactuar behind you.
Yeah, it's very
There's also a tonberry behind you. You can't see it on camera, though, but...
His room is...
Actually, it looks like he's holding you hostage because he's pointing the knife right at you.
I'll get you. I'm like, fine, get me.
I'm going to get you.
I mean, that would probably be the best way to go out.
Yeah, Death by Tonberry.
Yeah. Final Fantasy character taking me out.
I'd be fine with it. Also, look at these boots.
Yeah.
I can't really see them on the mics.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. I'm the sheriff.
Yeah, you're the sheriff of Silent Hill. And I'm Jill from RE3. And I accidentally went to Silent Hill. It's so awkward. I accidentally went to Silent Hill.
I took a wrong turn, and it's like Raccoon City was like right turn, Silent Hill's left turn. I went left by accident.
And it looked dark and decrepit, and I was like, this looks like
right. Maybe.
You're the sheriff going like, welcome.
Welcome.
And I'm like, this isn't Raccoon City? Raccoon City?
Raccoon City?
I'm Julia. Jill, I mean. I'm Jill.
Julia.
Jill sandwich, please. But yeah, I'm Jill from RE3.
Yeah.
I don't have any boots.
Boots are off because usually we don't wear boots in the house.
Yes.
Or boots in the house. We don't wear any shoes in the house.
Just boots
specifically.
Come with tennis shoes, fine.
Fine. Slippers, okay.
Sandals, all right.
Awesome. Boots, absolutely not.
You go die.
But we're having a Halloween party today, so shoes are allowed in the house just today.
Yes. But I wanted to be relaxed for this.
Yeah, a good guest. Well, that's good, yeah, because my shoes are not comfortable, so. Well, that's okay.
I guess we have to ask the question we ask every single week. How was your week? Am I about to learn something?
No, I mean, again, like here we are. Another week has gone by, and it doesn't feel like I've done anything.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah, I've been just hanging out, kind of taking it easy. Like I mentioned last week that I was on like a creative high, so I'm like kind of taking a break, and like because I have the problem where like I can't rest ever. Like I just have to always be doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was me last week, and I was just kind of like, you know what? Like just like chill. You know, like take some time for yourself to like not be doing something that involves using your energy.
Yeah, that
like
makes sense.
last week I was, you know, it was like I had work, and then I was writing, and then I was doing personal writing. So it's like,
yeah, your energy astounds me. Someone who lacks a lot of energy a lot of times.
Yeah,
it impresses me.
Well, it's because I stopped drinking.
That'll do things.
I don't remember if I don't think I talked about that last week.
No, just me personally, but not the show.
Yeah. So I stopped drinking on the 15th of October. So it's been 2 weeks.
Okay.
And oh my God, it's amazing.
Actually,
this is something good to talk about. Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I have energy again. Like I'm feeling motivated to do stuff, which is why I think I was having that creative rush. It's because I finally had the energy to do something other than wake up and go to work and come home. And it's amazing because like you get into these cycles where like I've talked openly about like depression and anxiety, and like I realized that I had a very unhealthy coping mechanism for that, which was drinking a lot. And like I would come home every day and I would just drink. Like I would get home like 4:00 until like 8 or 9, just sit in my backyard and drink, and then like go to bed. And not only was I not using my time for anything, but I was also like, it also just made me feel so tired and like so unmotivated. And then trying to combat those feelings, I would keep drinking, and I would drink more.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where it was just like really, really bad. And I had the realization where I was like, oh, like this is a really bad situation. And, you know, I want to be able to use my free time to do the things that I want to do, you know, which is playing video games, writing about video games, writing my own stories, and reading. Like I've been reading so much more because I have the energy to focus on reading a book now and like processing a book.
Yeah.
And it's just, it feels so silly because I'm like, these are things I used to do, but it's like I didn't always have this problem. So I just like decided to stop drinking altogether on the 15th, and it's been 2 weeks, and I feel great. And I honestly don't know if I'll go back to it. Like, and like I don't even know, our friend asked me, because I was hanging out with her last weekend, and that was one of the things we talked about. She was like, do you think you're like done, or like do you think you can have like 1 or 2? And I was like, I think for right now I just want to be like totally cut off, like really revel in the fact that I have energy and can do stuff and like feel positive and feel happy. And like I don't know if I want to even risk having just like one, because that's always how you end up falling back into those kind of cycles. And like I do really think that I had a dependency that I didn't realize I had. So it's been really good. And yeah, so my week has been good because I've had the energy to do things that are fulfilling and actually feel the reward of that, you know? So that was my week.
That's awesome. I feel like that's really awesome, because first off, you had to like recognize that there was something there that was making you unhappy and were like not serving you in the moment. And like some people can go buy and like social drink,
right,
or do those kind of things, and it will be fine. And like I'm not judging people that do drink on a regular basis, but it is really powerful when you notice a pattern that you're in, and like noticing that pattern and wanting to change that pattern and see what else happens.
Yeah.
And like you see the benefits of not doing this.
Right.
So you're just like, well, I see the benefits of that. And I could see why you're like, well, maybe I want to make this a consistent thing.
Right.
Which makes even more sense. I had a very not similar again. Well, I would say somewhat similar. I was drinking every night when I got back. Like, the Underwood cans.
Those are dangerous.
So dangerous.
I could knock back like 3 of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
that's like a bottle and a half of wine.
Yeah. I bought 2 every night. Like, I would get off work. I would buy 2 of those Underwood cans of wine. And it got so bad that I was hiding it from other people. I would hide the cans. I would like I think there was one time I came over to your place. I had a wine like box in my fanny pack. Like on the go wine.
Yeah.
It was like a whole other level. I had never gotten to that point before where like I felt like I had to drink.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'll drink when I get home. Like I had to carry it in my convenient fanny pack.
Right.
And
have it on deck.
Yeah. And then I went and I started doing that every night and I was like, whew, like I am gaining a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because wine is not a very calorie friendly thing.
No, it's very sweet.
Yes. And other things. But I realized like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to try without it. See how I feel. So that's exactly kind of like what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I haven't drank since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever you decide to do, I think is like up to you and like your body.
Yeah.
And like your mind, you know. So I feel like for me, like I don't social drink because for me, like I will get in that pattern again.
Yeah.
And I know that. But I'm not going to say that I'm never going to drink again in my life. Like that's not something I'm comfortable with saying now.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't necessarily think like I want to make any sort of long-term permanent choice like that. I think I've always kind of been like, you know, a short-term goal oriented person. I mean, I have long-term goals, but like, I think with this, it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to take it day by day and just see how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Because it may just happen naturally, right? That I'm like, because right now I'm like, I don't have that feeling anymore of needing to drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, where like, because I'm feeling and recognizing the positivity that has come out of choosing not to, and like realizing like how much better I feel physically and emotionally, and like, yeah, it was just crazy. Like I didn't realize how much it was also perpetuating my depressive episodes, because like I would have like really long depressive episodes, like 10, 12 weeks, like twice a year, which is half a year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it was just perpetuated by like drinking to try to solve that feeling, because you get the instant gratification in the moment, but then once you sober up, like you have that deficiency of like literally neurotransmitters in your brain, you know, that are trying to fill in that gap of good feeling that you felt. And so you wake up feeling worse. Like even if I wasn't like hungover, I would feel just really tired and lethargic and unmotivated, which those are all linked to those same neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine. Like motivation especially is really affected by those.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like being in that lacking state, like I was just so unmotivated, and literally all I could do was go to work, and it was barely that. Like I would call out and like take a mental health day, which is good.
Yeah, that's very good.
But it was something that I could have fixed a long time ago, and I'm happy to say that I have. So and I don't feel the need to drink anymore.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And I like, not to keep talking, I know this is like becoming
it's mental health. It's a mental health podcast now.
This is what I wanted all along.
This is what happens when we get together in person. We're just like mental health.
Mental health, but like anxiety perpetuates depression. Like it can lead to a depressive episode. Because I struggle with depression and anxiety, and when I was like in my drinking thing, I felt like I didn't feel unless I was drinking.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel anything. Like I had to be drinking to feel something. And that also does it. And also when you're living with anxiety, drinking is very easy to get into, I would say.
Yes.
More so than like just generally, like general population.
Yeah.
Because the anxiety that you get from like being around other people, things, places, like drinking takes the edge off.
Right.
So like you don't feel that your anxiety as much.
Exactly.
When you're a little drunk or like a little tipsy or whatever. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole process. I'm happy that you're in that spot now and taking care of yourself. It's good.
Yes. How was your week?
How was that? So, I've been really working on my stitching. Oh,
yeah.
So I've come up with a name. I'm not saying it yet.
Oh.
I'm not putting it on the universe until it's like,
beep.
Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, got the name. I'm going to try to get an LLC eventually.
Oh, cool.
And, like, put my shop up on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to, in J-Town here, they have, like, booths where you can sell your artwork, like, some days of the month. So I'm going to try to get a booth together and then, like, start selling my artwork. Because I already have 3 done.
Oh, nice.
Which is, like, good. Like, that's good for me.
Yeah.
Like, I am the type of person that, like, I have a lot of mental health stuff. I have a lot of physical health stuff that's going on with me right now. So it's, like, just doing something is good.
Yeah.
Even if it takes me a long time, even though it takes me longer than most people, like, I'm getting it done slowly.
Right.
And I'm also signed up to get my certificate in the BEMA from CCSF. So it's Broadcast Entertainment Media.
Oh, cool.
To get an internship at a radio station.
Nice.
Because I feel like I have a radio voice.
Oh, yeah.
Or a podcast voice. I know radio is kind of dying because of podcasts, but
right.
there's a lot of things you can learn from like radio stations, and a lot of things that you can learn that is applicable to podcasts and like, other kind of things. So I'm gonna try to get in that because I've always been the type of person it's very hard for me to learn on my own. I'm not the type of person that needs structure. I need other people.
Yeah.
I'm a very external person, so I need like people around me, like a group, kind of to get me involved in things.
Yeah.
Motivate me. So did that. Business, trying to get that started. Hopefully we'll start soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, name's already out there in the ether. And it's going to be mainly video game artwork that I'm doing. Like little like chibi or kawaii versions of like video game characters.
Yeah. But
also I'm going to do some like things that I like mochi.
Yeah.
Or waffles. Or like just breakfast food in general. Just breakfast food, at least all breakfast food. It's just a breakfast food art. Like that's it.
Video game characters eating breakfast food.
Yes. And like a little thought bubble, and they're thinking about mochi.
Yeah, and they're thinking about fried eggs.
They're like,
wow.
Yeah, so I got 3 ready, and then it's really exciting because IKEA, just down the street from your place, they have these really cheap frames that are like cheap that I can buy in bulk to just frame all of the artwork so then I can send it out with a frame. Because I think people, like, they really appreciate when you have a frame to go with your artwork.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it makes it look more, like, complete in a way.
Because I feel like I'm going to be able to put that on the booth and it's going to look really cute. And I'm going to get a little, like what's that thing called?
A table?
Yes. Or table mat.
Like a table?
Tablecloth.
Wow.
I'm going to have little stands.
You have tablecloth but no table?
Yeah.
It's just
no art, just tablecloth.
Yeah, just one tablecloth.
Yeah. Highest bidder, $10 million, highest bidder.
Everyone's like,
no one's buying a tablecloth.
Nobody wants a tablecloth.
Yeah.
Nobody owns tables anymore.
You guys suck.
You all suck.
My art's the best. But yeah, so I've been doing art, focusing on like going back to school, mental health, trying to fix my physical health right now, going to the gym, trying to lose weight, which I don't recommend for everybody, you know, that's just my personal thing. I want to lose weight. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I feel like we both had very fulfilling weeks the last few weeks.
Very, like, spiritual, psychological weeks.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah. Oh, also I found one of my favorite new podcasts. And I'm not a podcast person, even though we have a podcast.
Even though we have a podcast, I never listen to podcasts.
I don't like podcasts.
I don't recommend podcasts to anyone.
No. There's a podcast called Maintenance Phase. And it's two women, and they talk about, like, the kind of how, like, the health industry and, like, the wellness industry and how fake it can be. Like, and how people are obsessed with things like apple cider vinegar.
Right.
And, like, oh, this will cure me of everything. And they go into that and the history behind these things and fads. And they kind of, like, debunk them a little bit.
Oh, that's
cool. Or, like, they tell you stuff and you're just like, whoa.
Whoa.
Like, I learned some stuff about Bragg's, that nutritional yeast company, that I did not know before, and I'm debating not buying it again.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
I have Bragg's nutritional yeast in the kitchen right now.
Throw it out! Mary's scared. Throw it out. Maintenance Phase, though. It's great. Like, it's really funny. And the women are super funny. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I did not intend for our personal life updates to be that long, but I feel like there's something different about, like, being in person where it's just, like, I, like, want to divulge more.
Yeah, and plus I feel like our episodes are usually like 50 minutes to an hour, which is like good, but some podcasts go for like 2 hours.
Yeah, no, God, no.
So, no.
I'm like, God, no.
We're not doing that, but we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Well, I say that we jump.
Leap?
Yeah, into some
Frolic?
video game stuff.
Okay.
I have to pull up my notes. I mean, I know what the first topic on our list is, but I just want to make sure that this is working.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so the first topic that I have for today is that The Witcher is getting a remake in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The first one, right?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. And the first one, like, I know it's released on PC, and it was very different from the third one.
Right.
And, like, the gameplay and, like, how you go around the world and, like, just looked very different. That's all. That's mainly what I know, is that, like, a lot of people really liked it, but it's so much different than what, like, I'm used to, like, in a Witcher game, and what most people, I think, getting into Witcher now are used to.
Yeah. And I feel like the first 2 Witcher games, I feel like I feel like they gradually got better, and then I think the third game is like the most well-renowned Witcher game. Like, I think it's the one most people have played. It's the one that people are most used to seeing. Like, the first 2 games are pretty different.
Yeah.
And like, I've only played parts of the third one. I haven't played the first 2. I've only seen like gameplay of them. But yeah, it's interesting. I think right now we're in a world saturated by remakes, right?
Yes.
So like, I think a lot of publishers and developers are seeing the success of remakes, like especially like all of the Resident Evil remakes. Obviously, we have these Silent Hill announcements and duh. Which this was bought before those announcements.
Yeah, Chris and me, we're not posers.
Yeah, no.
We didn't get into Silent Hill because that wonderful.
Because of that wonderful 40-minute.
Yeah. So
5 new things announcement. But yeah, I think more and more, because of the success of some of these remakes, a lot of studios and publishers are willing to take the risk of remaking some of these older classics, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, there are a lot of games that I feel like don't necessarily need a remake. You know, like we're getting like Dead Space and even Silent Hill 2. Like, I feel like those games, the originals still hold up really well.
Yeah.
And yes, the graphics are outdated and the mechanics are outdated. And if you gave a 19-year-old tank controls, they would freak the fuck out. But
like, what's this garbage?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this is life.
This is life, bro.
Yeah.
But I think that there's still value in those things. Like, I think because we're at that age where now we're cycling back around and things are nostalgic for us.
Yeah.
So I still like tank controls. And
me too.
Like,
I love tank controls.
Yeah. Original Resident Evils. Yeah. I love a good tank.
Like, it makes me feel like I'm more in control. Yeah. Which is weird.
Right?
Like, it just makes me feel like I really have control of my character. Like, I'm just like Joe from RE3. RE3 is my favorite Resident Evil, and that's on the PlayStation, and it has tank controls. And I played it recently, like a couple months ago, and I was like, this still slaps. It's good.
Yeah.
Like, the tank controls are not a problem for me, especially because the camera work is very purposeful.
Right.
The camera work is fixed, really, but it's purposeful to the tank controls. It just works.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm saying. If you made a good game with tank controls, still good.
Yeah.
If you made a bad game with tank controls, I could see that argument.
Right.
I wouldn't agree with it, but I see that argument.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, like the other games, like because you mentioned camera work, those originals, like the original Silent Hills, the original Resident Evils, like a lot of those survival horror games from that era of the late 90s, early 2000s have that very specific camera work, the like way up here, like during certain scenes, or like depending on how you walk.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like sometimes it's like walking towards the camera and the camera's like down here and then it switches and it's like way back here. Like, I think that even that camera work, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, does add a certain effect to the gameplay that we don't really have as much these days, because now cameras, like in survival horror, are pretty much always over the shoulder.
Yeah. Which
is also fine, and I think is more well suited to contemporary horror games. But you don't get that same like switching of camera angles as much in such a dramatic way. Yeah. That does frame a room or a scene in a purposeful way.
Yeah, they had to make it look pretty because the game is like, you know, and it makes it look visually like more interesting, like stunning in order to do that. Like even like a low graphic game like the old games.
Right.
It made them look interesting and it like kind of set them apart, which I feel like they did a really good job. Yeah. And I'd be interested to see like these new games with the over the shoulder like camera and see how I feel about it.
Right.
Because I mean, I'm so used to games now with the over the shoulder that I feel like it's not going to bother me much.
Right.
However, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like that nostalgia hit that I'm looking for. Yeah. Maybe. But I am excited for Silent Hill 2 remake. The Witcher remake, I might give it a go. Yeah. I really enjoyed Witcher 3.
Same.
I played at least 30, 40 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of boobies. A lot of boobies.
Yeah, he fucks.
Optional boobies.
Optional boobies, but he does fuck.
Cheating boobies. You can cheat. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if I feel like the first one also maybe has some boobies too and like some sex scenes.
I think it did. Weren't there were like trading cards,
yeah,
right?
Cards,
the women,
naked women, yeah. That's how they got their jimmies wet.
Yeah, seriously.
Give me a one boob, please.
Yeah, I'll have one boob.
Yeah.
Just
I'll
one.
raise you a cock.
Wow. I'll give you a raised cock.
Yeah. But on that note, I am very sad though. All these remakes happening.
Right.
Resident Evil Code Veronica. No mention.
Right.
Of a remake. And then there was actually news came out recently because everyone was asking about it. There are some real fans of Code Veronica out there.
Yeah.
Including me. I fucking love that game. And the creator, the director, he's like, we have no interest in
we hate Code Veronica.
No,
we will never remake it.
Not happening. They're like, we have no plans for that at all.
And everyone's like, no,
please, like RE4, I get it. It's one of the most, like RE2 and RE4, those are the most popular. But like, come on, like all these remakes, give me Code Veronica.
Right. I also want them to remake the first Resident Evil. I want to see the Spencer Mansion in fucking HD.
That's true. Yeah.
It would probably just look like the castle in Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
It's the same castle.
Yeah, it's actually the same building.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, I mean, I don't really have too many thoughts about The Witcher, so it's kind of, now we're just kind of talking about remakes, but that's fine, because I honestly think, like, I'm happy that all of these remakes are happening, because despite loving the originals, and there's a lot of value in them, I do think that there's also value in taking them and reworking them, and so they're all sort of reimagined. Like, I think the reason that the Resident Evil remakes are doing so well is because, for the most part, they don't touch the story. Like, they're, like, 3 they did kind of, but like Resident Evil 2 is pretty much like the same, and then I mean, I don't know how 4 is going to be, but they all look amazing, and they've been reworked in such a thoughtful way where they feel contemporary, but they still feel like Resident Evil, you know. And so I think that, and I would imagine that's something really hard to achieve, right? Is like, how do you take something that's old, make it new, but make it still feel like what franchise it belongs to? So I think that they've been really successful at achieving that, and so I am happy that there are the remakes. I have all of them right now in my bedroom. I've played all of them, and I will play 4 for sure.
Yeah, 4 looks great.
I did try. I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I did try playing 4 on my PlayStation 5 because I could download it for free.
Yeah.
but the control, like the camera controls on that, just like I couldn't do it. The way that it like snaps around and it's like hard to maneuver, I was just like, I was like, no, I was like, you know what? I like this game, but I've already played it. I will wait for the remake.
You beat it and wait for the
right. So, yeah,
that's it.
Let's see what else we have on our docket.
Yeah, I'm interested. While you're bringing up the next topic, I'm interested to see, is that remake? Do you know if it's going to be like 60 or 70? Probably 70, right?
4? I think it's going to be cheaper.
Oh, okay.
I can look it up. I think I remember seeing Evil 4 remake price. I thought that they were releasing it cheaper than like a new AAA game.
Okay.
Nope, it's gonna be $60.
Okay.
I'm like,
but not 70. Not 70. Okay.
That's true.
All right. Still got it. Still gonna buy it.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was cheaper, but no. All right, and then so the next topic I want to talk about while we're still in this is actually kind of a spoopy episode. I realize all the topics are about like horror games.
Yeah, perfectly timed.
Unintentionally. So the next topic that I wanted to talk about was that Alan Wake 2 is still in development, and they are continuing as planned.
Yes. And
they're also continuing with making 2 new Control games. So I wrote an article about this yesterday. So I read through, they had an earnings report that Remedy put out that basically was talking about like January through September's finances. And so they talk about briefly, like in a couple paragraphs, about like what video games they're funding right now and how that's affected their budgeting and their money, and I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, I want to read, I want to know like what's going on with Alan Wake 2, what's going on with Control.
Yeah.
Because we knew, like, obviously we saw the teaser for Alan Wake 2 exists. And then we know that there's a Control spinoff coming out and a Control sequel coming out.
Yeah.
And I love Control. It was that was my favorite game that came out that year. I think it was 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, it was a little bit ago, yeah.
That was my favorite game of that year. And like, I just had so much fun playing it. Like, it was just so impressive what they were able to achieve with like the physics and like the breakables, especially of that game. Like, you're just ripping concrete out of the ground and throwing it at people with telekinesis. Like,
yeah, it was really fun. Those mechanics were fun.
Yeah, and just the atmosphere of it all. Like, it was just such a unique and well-designed game. And so I am super excited to see that they're continuing with development of these. And both of the Control games are still in early. I think one of them was still in like the concept stage, so they're not actually developing it yet. But then the other one was in proof of concept stage, so they're at the point where they're like getting ready to hire people to start actually building the game and like creating it.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I'm happy that that those projects are not getting dropped, because that happens in games all the time where things get conceptualized and talked about and they oftentimes get dropped and we never hear about them again.
Yeah. There's been a lot of games like that, yeah.
And then Alan Wake 2, the only thing that they really said about it was that it's still slated to come out next year. With no like specific range, but they still said 2023, which is good. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we maybe see either at the end of this year, beginning of next year, maybe more gameplay footage, because it was just a teaser. So I don't think there was any actual gameplay that we saw in the teaser, but it looks amazing. And like Remedy makes really, really great stuff, publishes really great stuff. So I'm excited to see more about that. And I'm just happy that they're on track.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear, especially from like a game that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's like to hear that they are on track is like really relieving.
Yeah.
But I do wonder though, like people that like companies and publishers that come out with these dates are like, it's coming out in 2023, it's coming out in 2024.
Right.
Like I wonder if they've kind of learned just from the previous years of like how many games were stalled, like pushed back for obvious reasons, for good reasons, most likely.
Yeah.
And, I think it's A-okay to be like that companies push back games because that makes more sense to me. Put more effort into it to release a better game.
Right.
But I wonder if like years of that, like dates that they're now pushing are like relatively the date or like close to like what the actual date's going to be, as opposed to like keep pushing back these games.
Right.
Because I wonder if they're like giving themselves more time because they realize like the public, like they get very trolly, I would say, angsty when things don't come out in a certain way. So I wonder if they're taking that more into consideration, like these recent games, like upcoming games. Because I feel like that would be the dynamic moving forward. It's just like, okay, we're going to release this in a realistic time frame.
Right.
Not like try to push the numbers, crunch the numbers, and like come up with a date that's not going to be realistic.
Right.
But just honestly, like a honest number. So
yeah, and I wonder too if they're leaving it open, knowing that they might have to push it further. Because I think, like you could say like, oh, like March of 2023, but then you're giving yourself a really narrow window of time.
Yeah.
Versus if you just say 2023, it's like you can release it at any point that it's ready in 2023. And like I'm sure that a lot of it comes down to just like money, right? Like people have invested money to make in this publisher, and this publisher is funding the studios. Like they have to put the game out within a certain time frame. And so it is like, I don't know too much about that, but I would imagine that there's like that it's like a point of contention between like release it early and like
release it.
Release the game.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like release it early and it's not necessarily the best it could be, but like we need that money, or like wait and spend a little more money, but have the game release and be great and then make more money because the game is great.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see games like Gotham Knights, for example,
right,
which came out to not a disappointment. It was just meh.
Yeah, I think people are just like, eh.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's just, and then it was supposed to be this whole other game.
Right.
This whole other multiplayer, like, expanded game. And you could see the bones in it. You could see, like, the bones in the game. Like,
yeah.
You're like, oh, this was supposed to be this. And it's, like, sad to see that. It's like, yeah, this game was in development for, like, 9 years or something. And then they had, publishers are like, where's that game?
Yeah, put that game out!
Yeah. Come on, we don't even play video games. Just put that game out. My kid wants to play it. It's just for his kid. And the CEO
Bobby wants to play Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, Daddy. And he's like, don't worry, kid. I'll get this for you.
Don't you worry, Bobby. I'm going to get you that game.
Every gamer will be fired if this doesn't come out. But yeah, so that game came out. And much to the meh of fans. Yeah. I think some fans were really looking forward to that game.
Right.
Being something completely different than what it is.
Right.
What it turned out to be. But that goes to show you, don't crunch the numbers and push developers into this little hole, this little box. Because, like, you know, that doesn't feed creativity. That doesn't feed, like, good moral values.
Yeah, and I think you would make more money, too, if you put more money in to finish the development the way that it needs to be finished and release a good game. But, I mean, also, like, because people can pre-order games now, it's like, if you just have really good marketing, you basically can just get everyone's money, like what happened with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like Cyberpunk came out and it wasn't shit, but it was so buggy, right? And people, to the point where like it had to be taken down and given refunds to people. But like it had really good marketing. And so everyone was like, oh my God, it's going to be so good. Everyone pre-ordered it. So like they already had like the millions of dollars in their pocket before anyone even played it.
Yeah. I remember because I was super excited to get my PS5. The first game that I wanted to play on it was specifically Cyberpunk. Yeah. I was like, that's the game I want to play on it. That's the first game I'm going to play. I'm going to like get a physical copy, which I did. I was like super pumped. Actually, I got 3 copies of it.
My God.
Because I got...
What the hell?
I was so excited. I was like, I have to play it simultaneous on PS4, PS5, and on Chris's PS5.
Oh my God. I didn't know that you had 3 copies.
Yeah, no, I don't any longer. Because it was funny. Like, I pre-ordered off of like Amazon because you got like a discount or something, and there was like money off. Yeah. So I did that. And then it got like something in transit happened and didn't get delivered. I was like, fine, okay. So then I went to Target because they had it, but I just did a pickup like on the app. I didn't go in the store. Right. Because you can do those pickups, curbside pickup.
Oh yeah, this was like peak COVID.
Yes. Yeah, peak COVID. So I did that. And then for some reason they put 2.
Oh, that's right. Bag. I remember that.
And I was like, and I like reported it. I was like a good person.
Wow, good Samaritan.
Reported it. And I was like, yeah, so like this happened.
You're like, this is the best game ever made. I should let someone else have this game that's totally not broken.
Yes, right. And then, but then a day later, the Amazon one comes. And like, because it said it was lost in transit. And like, it said it was delivered, but it wasn't. Yeah. So this wasn't delivered. And it was at my door the next day. I was like,
you just got all these free copies of Cyberpunk.
So I gave one to a friend of mine, and I got really sad because I gave it to him, and then he got to like the end of the game, and then it crashed, and he lost all of his data.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you're welcome.
Did he pay you for it?
No.
Okay, thank God.
No money. It was a gift. A free gift. Free gift.
Literally. Is it a gift though?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I swear I'm going to get you a good game next time. Like, you know. And it's
like, here's Gotham Knights.
Yeah, well, it's funny. He let me borrow Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like the remade. I still haven't gotten that back to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I still have your copy of Persona 5.
Oh, that's right. Persona 5 out on the Switch now. I don't need this.
You don't need it anymore. I can keep it.
Yeah. Anyway, that story, that reminded me of that. But
yeah, so funny.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Well, we were talking about like the release.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah. In person again. Baby.
I forgot how chaotic it is when we're actually in person.
So chaotic.
This feels like one of our first episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long, so that makes sense.
Yeah, we're just excited.
Yeah. So excited! But speaking of, like, I know we're going to get to the next topic soon, but speaking of Persona 5, it did come out on the Switch, and I am seriously considering buying it. Mm-hmm. Because it's the Royal version. I haven't played that version. Oh. Yeah. Because I think that, like, in the Royal version, there's, like, another character, there's more, like, storyline. Mm-hmm. And I think Persona 5, I'm going to say it, many other people will probably agree with me, one of the best RPGs of all time.
I still haven't played it, even though you gave me the copy.
Well, I mean, it's also free in the premium or the extra, so.
Well, yeah, now I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying for premium.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But it's I would say, one of the best games ever made. And it's so interesting because Persona 5, I think that said they sold around 15.5 million copies of the Switch version. Yeah. That's a lot. Because of such big numbers, and I remember liking Persona, like back when Persona 3 was coming out, and 2, that like it wasn't as popular. Like,
right.
It was like a niche crowd. Like it was popular when it comes to like those type of games and that niche crowd. Like it was popular and people really loved them.
Right.
And cherished them. But P5 took it to like a next level.
Yeah.
And it became so popular that I feel like now for Persona 6, because of the success from the Switch release, because of the success from just like releases in general, I feel like the next Persona is, I don't think it's going to be region locked at first because, you know, usually they release in Japan. And then like a year later, like a couple months later, then it releases everywhere else.
Right.
But because Persona 5 was so successful, I think it's just going to release everywhere at once. And
you heard it here first.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be so excited to play Persona 6. I am just going to want to stay in my room and just play it for like.
That's what I'm thinking of doing with God of War. I think I might ask if I can have that day and the following day off.
That's smart. You just walk. Yeah.
No, wait. Okay, because it comes out on a Thursday? When is November 9th?
Because if it comes out on Thursday, or Friday, Saturday off.
Exactly. Okay, it comes out on Wednesday. Well, so what I should do is see if I can have a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
And just play God of War and do nothing else.
Yeah. That sounds
Because I'm so excited because they have also been doing what I think is really smart, and I think that everyone should do this. They've been releasing over the last few weeks inside looks, like with the devs talking about the development of certain aspects of the game. So they most recently released on the PlayStation blog, was where I read it. They had the devs who were I think it was just animation. So they had people talking about like the combat and like changes to the combat and changes to the weapons and the shields and like new companion combat with Atreus. And so like I think that's really smart because as we know, people like to leak shit because fans are curious and video games are very secretive.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually smart of developers, if they're able to actually put together some sort of something like this where fans can be given little tidbits of what's going on in the background, because I think like, at least for me, like it's making me super hyped for the game.
Yeah.
Like I never pre-order games, but I pre-ordered God of War Ragnarok because I want to own it.
That's a smart decision. I feel like.
I feel like you can trust it.
Of all the pre-orders, especially if you liked God of War 1,
and
you love God of War 1, I feel like you almost, I'm not saying you will be, but almost guaranteed you're gonna love God of War 2. Like, yeah.
So and just like it's been making me so hyped, and I feel like it's such good marketing. Because you're giving fans an inside look, which is what they want. Yeah. And it's getting them hyped leading up to the release. So I feel like that's really smart. Now, of course, like Sony Santa Monica is a Sony studio, and Sony has gajillions of dollars and can put money into making these kinds of things. But I think it'd be cool, like, if developers could do stuff like that. Like, I remember for Dying Light 2, they had that. You know, they had the 2 or 3 little like showcase events that they talked about different aspects of the game, and it made it really exciting because you get to see an early look at it and it gets you excited for the game itself. And
I think video games should honestly, another marketing trick that I feel like they're not getting into yet, which movies are already getting into, is having people physically out in the world and doing stuff like the Smile movie that came out recently. It's a woman at the ballpark like smiling.
So smart.
Yeah, such a good tactic.
Yeah.
And also, what didn't like when it come out, the original one or maybe the second one, like clowns? There was a clown phase.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, there was also for a while like clown sightings.
Yeah.
That weren't marketing. So they were just scary.
Okay. So maybe I'm confusing that.
I don't know.
I remember that. It was so random, just clowns everywhere.
Yeah.
People were like freaking out.
Yeah, people were scared.
And they're just like standing there. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's for it.
Oh my God, such good marketing.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, guess not.
Bye, Mary.
Yeah. I loved your marketing. But no, for like the movie Smile, and I know there's been other instances where I think for Blair Witch Project they also had like some gimmicky like marketing thing out in the field. So I feel like that's another way that studios could market. Just have like a Kratos just walking around.
Boy, the god of war.
Yeah.
Just out and about
shopping. He's walking around. He has a suit and a tie.
Yeah.
He's got a briefcase.
But he's like jacked.
Yeah. He's like business of war.
Also, they were saying he doesn't say boy anymore. So I don't know if I want to play it.
I have to retire that saying.
Yeah, because Atreus is grown up. Well, he's a teenager now, but he's stronger.
No, it doesn't
teen?
Doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound good.
Man!
Young adult! Doesn't sound yeah, not good.
The last thing that I want to talk about actually I classified it as a tasty tidbit.
Okay.
Because it's not anything like prolonged, but
Yum.
I saw that they're not releasing Callisto Protocol in Japan because it was so violent and gory that it couldn't get a rating.
I saw that, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so hyped.
Yeah, this game looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I watched, I like to watch What's Good Games, and one of their hosts, Brittany, she got to go and play it. Mm-hmm. They had like a preview event, and she got to go and play it, and she was like, I left shaking. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah, this game looks so cool. And I also listened to Nextlander, and Brad went to go play it.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you like Dead Space, like, it's very much a Dead Space-like game.
Right.
But he said, like, they do it in such a cool, like, well-made. He said the game was extremely, like, well-made.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell it's well-made. So, I want to play it.
I'm really excited. That was all. I also pre-ordered that after watching a lot of, like, previews of it.
Yeah.
Or people talk about it.
It's interesting that Japan, like, the way that they censor some things.
Right.
Because I think I need to look into it, like, further. I need to investigate. Like, it is interesting to me because some things that come out in Japan, like, yeah, it must be, like, real, like, violent.
Yeah, I wonder if, because I also don't know what their censorship protocol is for media. Because you do, like, because there's some things that come out of Japan where you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, like nudity.
Yeah, like nudity.
There's, like, everything.
But then, like, gore, I wonder if it's, like, gore is, like, is off limits.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the thing I want to know more about.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, because I was watching recently, I bought a DVD set of an anime I used to like when I was a teenager, because I used to be really into anime, really into manga, like super hardcore. And it's Ranma Half, and
I'm like,
it's pretty old. It's from like the 80s.
Okay.
Like, it's an old anime, like late 80s or something, early 90s. And I read the manga, and I used to watch the show when it was on, like, maybe it was on Adult Swim or something. I used to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I was watching it, like, recently, because I bought the DVD set. It's from a game shop, actually, in Portland. So Portland has really good game shops. Anyway, and I started watching the first or 2 episodes, and the amount of, like, new, like, just, like, boobs.
Yeah, just
like,
there.
Of a 16-year-old girl.
Right. That's the other thing, is then, like, age isn't, like...
Yeah. I'm like, a 16-year-old girl, just, like, her, like, boobs out. First off, I did not remember that in the American. I feel like I watched the censored version of it.
I was going to say, because I feel like a lot of those, when they get American, like, English dubs or, like, remakes, they will censor stuff like that and, like, cut it out.
Yeah, so I feel like the storyline also, like, kind of took away some scenes because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, ew, like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, they're sexualizing a 16-year-old girl. It's like, okay, that's okay, but like,
right, but gore is not.
Gore is not okay. Like, I don't. Like,
it's like Japan and America have like opposite values.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. Where it's like America, it's like, yeah, like violence is fine, but like no titty.
No young titty. No titty of all time.
Young titty,
old
no
titty,
good.
Old titty especially no.
Yeah. Oh god.
Never do an old titty. But yeah, I was thinking of that then, and then when that story came out, that's what I was thinking of. Like, I was like, okay, like that's okay. But that's not okay.
Right, I am very curious.
I need to look into that, because I know there's a culture, like, there's a lot of culture, different aspects that I don't know, so I'm kind of ignorant of that, so I can't say much.
Yeah.
However, that glaring, like, difference, I really want to know more about that, because, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, maybe that'll be our next episode. We'll do, like, a feature episode where we talk about censorship in Japan.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be a whole episode worth. Oh, that'd be, like, a whole day's worth, I feel like.
Right?
Just stream it 24 hours on Twitch.
24 hours.
Who wants to know about Japan censorship?
For 24 hours, everyone's like, censor this!
Japan's like, America's like,
no!
Get it out of here.
Unless you're in a hot tub.
That's true.
Think about that.
I'll think about it as I sit in my hot tub. Nude.
Nude.
There's nudists running around with their clothes off.
Whew. All right. I feel like we should talk about what we've been playing. We've both been playing the same thing.
So in Portland, as I previously mentioned, I bought New Leaf. It's the only Animal Crossing New Leaf. It's the only game I bought.
Yep.
Which is great. Like, I feel like I spent my money very well.
Yep.
I feel like that's the game to get. That was the game to get because I had only to this point played Animal Crossing New Horizons. Mm-hmm. So it's my only entryway into the Animal Crossing world. Only one I played. So when I started playing New Leaf, which I've been playing, I've been bouncing. So I've literally
been jumping back and forth.
So literally the past, like before Bayonetta 3 comes out for the Switch, because then, Bayonetta 3 is out already as when we're recording this. But I've been bouncing back, so I've been playing New Leaf. Mm-hmm. I've been like doing the whole day's worth of stuff that I can do because it is a more limited Animal Crossing game.
It is.
Can't do as much. The island's very, not as the village.
Yes.
Island?
You're not on an island. You're in a village. Not on an
island? It looks like an island to me. There's sand.
Well, I mean, they all have beaches.
Then it's an island.
No, it's not.
Geographically speaking, if there is sand.
Very.
I'm gonna dig myself into this hole.
Yeah, I'm like, you're gonna really dig yourself into a hole. I feel like
I'm Dan, from Giant Bomb. Yeah. I'm doing a Dan right now. I'm like, if there's sand, it's a beach. But
I'm like, no, Mary.
The more sand, the more beachier.
Well, yes, it's a beach, but it's not an island.
But there's a beach.
But doesn't mean you're on an island.
Anyway, I'm on this island in New Leaf.
No, you're not.
I'm the mayor of this beautiful island.
Correct.
And you said it. You said correct.
Well, I said correct to being a mayor, not to being on an island.
Damn it.
Well, actually, we don't know. It could be an island. Because the map cuts off. So we don't know. It could actually be an island.
It's true.
We don't know what's on the other side.
Fact or fiction?
Our next episode, is it an island or is it a village?
What did you think? That was a lie. We made it.
We made it up. Totally fabricated.
Yeah. But New Leaf. So New Leaf. I get done with the day, do that whole shindig. Then I go immediately to New Horizons. Yep. Boot it up, and then I play through it.
Yep.
And I can do a lot more New Horizons than I can in New Leaf. Obviously, there's just a lot more to do. And it's fall, like Halloween in both, which is my favorite time of year, so I'm collecting candy in both. But I get kind of confused because I know you're only allowed to buy one candy piece a day.
Right.
So like I try to buy one, and I'm like,
what?
I thought I like didn't buy one or did buy one. I was like, oh no, that's
the other one.
Yeah. I'm literally like, I feel like an addict because I'm bouncing. I'm putting one down and I'm booting up the other one.
Right.
I'm shutting down, booting up
the other one.
I'm an Animal Crossing addict right now. So I've been deeply playing that. And I'm trying to think of other games I've been playing. Donkey Kong for the original Game Boy.
Oh, wow.
Like the original Game Boy. Like the old school brick. Yeah. Which is a great Game Boy game. Because if you are familiar with playing like original Game Boy games, they're not sometimes the greatest. Like graphics, and I have a backlit one so you can see it.
Yeah.
So thank God, because if I didn't have a backlight, like I wouldn't be able to see half that shit.
My eyes, compared to when I was a kid, and could actually look at a Game Boy, terrible. Couldn't do it now.
No. But I've been bouncing back doing that too because that's super fun. But
yeah. I've also been playing New Leaf.
Yeah.
Because Mary was like, I'm playing New Leaf. And then I was like, that's not what you sound like. I'm playing New Leaf.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up last week. And then today I was like, I know I have my 3DS somewhere.
Where was it at?
It was in a box in this closet. Where it belongs. But, so I booted it up. And of course, that's the cartridge that was in my 3DS.
Oh, that's perfect.
That was the last game I played.
It's meant to be.
The last time that I played this game was 2017.
Wow.
5 years ago.
So long ago. It feels like a month.
And my animals made sure I knew it.
It's been 5 years.
No, literally one of them was like, oh my God, it's been 5 years. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Like, I know.
You like come out and you're like disheveled. Like.
No, literally I have bedhead and I learned. Because I was looking it up because there is a hair salon, but you have to unlock it.
Oh.
And I didn't unlock it yet. And so I was like, do I just have bedhead? Because in New Horizon, you can go to a mirror and change your appearance at any time.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in New Leaf. So I literally just had perpetual bedhead. And I had to then look up how to unlock the hair salon, which I did.
Okay.
And then I time traveled, because this was all today. This was like 5 hours ago. I did this. And so I time traveled because it takes like 3 days to build new things on that, I think they call it Main Street.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I didn't know that. I'm still fresh.
Yeah. So, and that was I think I have one more building left, but I have to pay for it and I don't want to. So I have pretty much all the buildings. But I got the hair salon so I could finally change my hair. But then the funny thing about like all of the old Animal Crossings is that when you get a haircut, the style and the color is based on how you respond to prompts.
Oh, interesting.
So I was not risking it because you can only get your hair changed once a day. And so I was not going to risk it. I looked up again another guide of like when you answer, what answers get you what haircut.
Oh, okay.
Because there's some hideous haircuts in Animal Crossing.
Oh, I bet.
As we know.
I bet, yeah.
So I was like, and I don't want to risk it because I'm going to be stuck with it, or I'm going to have to time travel.
Yeah.
So I was doing gratuitous time traveling today. But yeah, 5 years. Not that many weeds.
That's impressive. I feel like a New Horizons would be like...
Yeah. But also, well, we should play together.
Yeah.
Because I also forgot they nerfed like all of the biodiversity of New Leaf for New Horizons. Like because New Horizons only has the original plants and fruit, but New Leaf has like, I have lychee, I have dragon fruit, I think, or I have mangoes. Like I have all of this other fruit that isn't just cherries, pears, apples, or oranges.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because at the booth that I bought the game from, I was asking the woman, I mean, she wanted me to buy it, so of course she's going to try to sell it to me.
Right.
But I was like, so do you like it? I was like, do you like this game? You played it? She's like, oh, I've played it. And I was like, yeah, but like, I've only played New Horizons. Like, do you like this game? And she was like, yeah, you get to get kiwis and like more fruit. And I was like, sold.
Yeah. That's literally, and there's other plants, like I think I have like irises or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's tons of other like plants and fruit. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah, it's weird that New Horizons was like, we have more space. No. Okay. And also, I feel like New Horizons nerfed a lot of things, which I disagreed with. But also, New Leaf, I've noticed, the villagers are more spicy. Like, they say spicier things.
Yeah, they're more saucy.
And, like, there was the one person that I went up to, because I really want to keep, I got Cube, which is my favorite villager. Mm-hmm. He's a penguin.
Oh, I love the penguins.
Yes, and he's, like, the cutest penguin, because he's so nice, and, like, he's my favorite villager.
Yeah.
Number one. And in New Horizons, I also have Cube on my island. And I have...
Wow, how, like, that's...
I know.
I'm like, I can't believe that happened.
I know, me neither. I was so excited when I saw Cube. I was like, Cube! In New Horizons, I have him on my flag. I put his picture on my flag, yeah. But anyway, so in New Leaf, I have this other penguin, Hopper. I think it's Hopper. Mm-hmm. He was
with the eyebrows.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I have 3 penguins. You can leave. Like, you're a penguin that I don't really care about. Because he came out to me, he was like, I'm thinking of moving.
You're like, bye.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is the first time I've been like, yeah, get out of here. Yeah. Only time, because I've usually felt the guilt somehow of like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad.
Yeah.
Like there's some sentient being. I'm like, I want to be nice to them.
Right.
So please stay. But no, Hopper, I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he immediately was like, oh, it looks like you want me to leave. I'm going to stay forever. And he just like walked away. And I was like, this is some new shit.
Oh my God.
I was like,
permanent resident.
I was not expecting this. I was like, my anxiety like peaked.
Yeah, they're like ferocious.
Yeah, they're like salty and like also they hold grudges. And just, like very saucy. I was like, I'm not expecting that. Like,
they do. I feel like in New Horizons, because you're like on an island and it's so chill. Everyone's like chill, but like everyone in like the older Animal Crossing games are savage.
They are.
And
like,
I totally forgot.
Yeah, like when I forgot to save one time. And like,
you had Rossetti.
Yeah, Rossetti. Like the stuff he said, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I totally forgot because autosave wasn't a feature until New Horizons.
Yeah, so I didn't know about Rossetti, and then also one of the villagers said something kind of misogynistic, and I was like, oh, because like I changed like my clothes or something, and then he said something about like the body or like my body. He was like, you wearing it good. I was like, whoa. I was like,
you know what?
This game is like, who wrote this
one?
And
I had, so in order to get the hair salon, you have to spend
sell your body.
Yeah, you have to sell your body. No, you have to spend a certain amount of bells at the tailor and at the shoe seller.
Yeah.
The cobbler.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And so I just bought everything that they had.
Mm.
And I went to buy a dress, and I'm a male character. I went to buy a dress, and she was like, "Oh, are you getting this as a gift?" And I was like, "Bitch, what if I want to wear a dress?"
What? What is wrong with
I was like, "Bitch, I can't wear a dress?"
Yeah. That's exactly like that.
That's how I said it in my mind. I was like, "Really?"
Yeah, that's so weird.
I was like,
so
"Wow."
weird.
And this was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But the game came out in 2012, I think.
Oh, okay.
Totally different era.
Yeah, totally different.
I didn't even live here yet. I wasn't even alive.
You look great for your age.
Thank you.
Yeah, born in 2012.
I'm 8.
Yeah, born in 2012.
I'm 10 years old.
Yeah, looking great. Mustache.
Looking great for 8.
Yeah, I didn't know I was recording a podcast with an 8-year-old. Yeah,
with a minor.
Talking about things I shouldn't definitely not be talking about children. Yeah, great. You give me a Silent Hill. So I was an 8-year-old. So versed.
Wow, so cultured. Ooh, how did you even play Silent Hill? It's rated at.
Yeah, right. I did actually I know this is kind of a tangent end of the episode.
Yeah,
hoopla.
We're getting there, okay?
The hoopla.
It's almost over.
This is a hoopla. I played Silent Hill when I was like 7 or 8. That's when I started.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's when I started. Yeah, my addiction started.
Yeah. I don't know how I acquired it because I was not old enough. Neither was my brother.
It just appeared out of nowhere, just like Silent Hill would.
Just a fog rolls in, and then when it leaves, Silent Hill is in its wake.
It's like the case, the jewel case. And like it pops in your PlayStation. You're like, "What's this?
Wow! Ah!
Scarred." I remember vividly like being like scarred as a kid playing that game because it was me and my sister. My sister doesn't play video games. She does not like video games.
Yeah.
She just doesn't play them. Doesn't like them, and like we just don't agree with any of that. And still to this day, she doesn't play video games. But for some reason, she played Silent Hill. Of all games. She was like, Silent Hill is the game I'm going to play. It's like, I remember staying up late, like, playing with her. And, like, just the scene of, like, the head popping out of the locker and stuff like that. I was like, damn.
Eddie puking.
Yeah.
Those were some, like, pukey puke sounds. I was like, ew.
Yeah. I definitely was playing it. And I was watching like rated R movies when I was like 8 or like, I remember there was specifically my mom hid the VHS copy of Cliffhanger from me. And if you know Cliffhanger, it's like, I don't know. I know.
Don't watch movies, so as you know.
Movies are no non-closure for you, but it's Sylvester Stallone, think of like a 90s action.
Right.
Generic movie with like a bicep man wearing like a tank top, running through the hills, sweating, blood, like guts, like guns, blood, guts, and guns. That's Cliffhanger.
Blood, guts, and guns.
That's the country I want to live in. Blood, guts, and guns.
You put on a shirt.
But he basically in the beginning of the movie, like I don't want to talk about the plot, but there are some naked women.
There's some naked boobs.
There's some naked boobs. There's some sex going on. Some sexy time. And I was banned from watching it because the boobs. And like, my family, my mom was like very Catholic and very like, no. And so she hid it. And she thought, like, I watched her hide it. Yeah. From the rafters. I was like a little goblin. I was like,
I know where it hides.
I'm like hanging, looking for Cliffhanger. But she hid it behind the console. Yeah. And I was like, oh. So I just like got it out, dusted it off, put it in. Boobs. Just because I just wanted to. Because it was off limits. And I was like, this is boring. I was like, this is boring.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I got banned from any boobs.
Banned from boobs.
Banned from boobs. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I remember Titanic. Obviously iconic.
Graceful boobs. That
was tasteful.
Tasteful and graceful boobs.
Yep. And then, because then was it Gladiator? It was one of those like Spartan war movies.
300?
No, it wasn't 300. It was recent. I think was it Brad Pitt?
Troy.
No, yeah, it was Troy. It was Troy because I remember like one of the opening scenes. He like wakes up and there's like a booby girl with him.
Yes, booby girl.
And I remember watching that and being like,
yeah, you're just like.
Because at this point, I mean, I swear that I've been gay since birth.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't care about that. I'm like, look at fucking Brad Pitt is like nude.
Yeah.
Because I think you see his butt, and I was like, whoa, whoa,
awakening.
No, literally. So.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was just thinking about something when you mentioned Troy. Oh, sorry. There's another tangent. Movie.
This episode is never ending.
No, it isn't. We have one more thing for you. Story. One more thing. One little tidbit for Mary. Have you heard of like Wordle?
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean have I heard of Wordle?
Have you heard of oxygen?
No.
Have you heard of bread?
No.
Sliced bread?
The sky?
Humans? No. Okay, so everyone knows Wordle. I get it.
Have you heard of Wordle?
Dumb question.
Sorry. I mean, there's probably people
who
haven't.
Have you heard of kombucha?
You know, booch.
Booch. I try to mansplain Wordle, but I'm like, Wordle essentially is.
So, Chris, Wordle basically, and I'm like, oh my god!
Scrabble? But also Scrabble, amazing game.
I love Scrabble.
So good. Anyway, so the movie version of Wordle is Movie Doll. It's not
terrible.
Yes, it is. It's a terrible name. And like I don't think it's actually by the same people. I think
they should have called it like Film Doll or something. Like
Film Doodle?
Film Doodle.
Film Doodle. Yeah. The name is not good.
No.
Movie Doll? Yeah. It's
no,
hard
there's
to say.
none of them work.
My like throat hurts as I say it. But Movie Doll is essentially where you watch, like they give you like every day is a new movie and you get 1 second clip, like a 1 second clip of the whole movie. And then if you don't get that in the first guess, you get 5 seconds, 10 seconds, up to 30 seconds, I think. I have gotten a streak
of
1 second.
Wow.
And it shows like it flashes frames. Like it's like 20 frames. And
right.
Like I don't know how. I've done it for movies I haven't seen.
That's weird.
It's very weird because I'm going off of trailers and I'm going off of like movie posters.
Wow.
Like I never saw Gravity, which I knew was like a thing. But
I obviously haven't seen it.
I saw Sandra Bullock. I saw Space, and I was like
Gravity,
and I got it. And like I also got Brokeback Mountain. Haven't seen that movie at all. Because I saw somebody who looked like Jake Gyllenhaal with a cowboy hat, and I was like, oh,
okay, done.
Brokeback Mountain. And then I also got here's the impressive one. I remember the name of the movie. Robert De Niro, Raging Bull. It's a black and white movie, released in the early 80s or whatever. Older movie. Like, I haven't seen it.
Right.
And it's like black and white. And like, I literally saw black and white and Robert De Niro was like, Raging Bull. And I got it. I was like, I'm a fucking wizard at Movie Doll. I don't even have to see the movie. It's because I'm like, ever since I was a kid, I've been so ingrained into movies. Like, I used to play Scene It and force people to play Scene It with me. The DVD game where you pop it in and like, I used to force people like, please, can we play Scene It?
Oh my god.
And nobody else wanted to because I would always win.
Right.
I would get like 100. I would get all the questions right. I would know all the trivia.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "How do you know this trivia from like 1945?" I'm like, "It's Humphrey Bogart."
What do you mean? How do I know this?
Yeah, how do I know this? So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just impressed with myself. I just didn't bring that up.
That is impressive.
It's a flex.
Do they have that for video games?
They
should.
They have one for video game music.
We've talked about that one before, but they should have one for like video games.
They should. I would be really. They probably do. It's probably out there.
Yeah, I'm sure we have something for it.
That'd be fun. I would do that too. But Movie Doll streak going.
Wow.
But that's it.
That's it. We're finally ending it.
We're done.
Because we could go on forever, but we're not going to.
No.
We respect you and your time. And so you better respect ours by liking and subscribing.
Please do.
And supporting us. You can listen to this everywhere the podcasts are available, which is like so crazy. What a time. You can find us everywhere.
We're underneath your pillow sometimes. No.
Yeah. Go on YouTube. You can watch us. You should watch this episode on YouTube because we're in person.
Yeah.
And the sparks are flying.
We don't usually get to be in person. So thank you. And watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Give us 5 stars. Like, help us climb our way up. We're slowly growing, which is awesome. Just search After School Special Club in Google. We're the #1 thing that comes up now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And the next time that we'll be together in person will be a New Year's episode.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So we'll also have outfits on.
Yes, I'll have a ball gown.
Right, and I'll have a yeah. And I'll also have a ball gown on with a slit, but on the other side.
Yes. And those fancy cigarette holders.
The long.
Yes.
Perfect. and a little party hat, and then we'll do a party popper, and it'll blow out the microphone.
And it'll ruin, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, our audio stopped."
Our audio's gone.
Audio stopped.
I broke my expensive microphone.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, looking forward to more episodes coming up soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.